There seems to be a shakeup happening with the NSA, CIA, and FBI. Now, I have seen the videos that were broken down by Nico House, Fiorella Isabel, Due Dissidents, and a few others in regards to Tulsi Gabbard being in charge of director of being the new director of national intelligence. And yes, I do find it very, 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 very disturbing that the policy towards the Middle East won't be changing anytime soon because color me shocked. Hey, we've been there since 2001. I don't think we're going to be leaving anytime soon. All right, watch in like the next once it gets to 2031, the whole U.S. involvement will be there for about 31 years. 31 years in that region. Why are we there? Why are we still there? But what I do find interesting is the shakeup that's happening and the overall challenge that's happening within the intelligence community. Now, as we all know, when Trump was in office, his first term, Senator Schumer made the infamous quote, "You don't want to make an enemy of the intelligence services in this country," to which Trump, in his first term, most certainly was. And now that he's back in, it's quite clear from what we have seen that this administration is completely different than the first term. And Trump has an axe to grind. As we all know, the intelligence services did play a significant role for being involved in censoring certain stories. And never once has there been ever an incident reported. Oh, wait, there have been numerous incidents of the NSA, FBI, CIA abusing their powers. We're already being spied in on. So I want to pull up this video here because there's two videos in question. First of all, NSA and then the FBI. Major shakeups happening here, folks.
Well, Jesse, what we're going to do has already been done. There are over 100 people from across the intelligence community that contributed to and participated.
Barnes Homestead says, well, wouldn't you have an axe to grind, Kit? With the amount of lawfare that Trump was going through, I can understand it. I can understand it completely. But it is rather interesting just how fast this is all moving because there's a lot of people in Trump's administration that has a severe axe to grind with the CIA, FBI, NSA. Tulsi Gabbard was put on a no flight list. RFK Jr. for many reasons has some questions for the CIA, and of course Trump and many members of his administration, including Trump himself, also have questions about him being spied on, and of course the last 4 years of him constantly dealing with cases and the intelligence community playing a role in some form or another, or being referenced by Democrats and corporate media as playing a role of making sure the walls close in on Trump. So it's understandable. I can understand where he's coming from. It's just we're living in interesting times where things are moving so fast.
Participated in this, what is really just an egregious violation of trust. What to speak of like basic rules and standards around professionalism. I put out a directive today that they all will be terminated and their security clearances will be revoked. But the thing here, Jesse, is like we got to take a step back because this is just barely scratching the surface. When you see what these people were saying, and thanks to Chris Rufo for putting it all out online, they were brazen in using an NSA platform intended for professional use to conduct this kind of really, really horrific behavior. And they were brazen in doing this because when was the last time anyone was really held accountable? Certainly not over the last 4 years, certainly not over the last 10, maybe 20 years. When we look at some of the biggest violations of the American people's trust in the intelligence community. So today's action in holding these the beginning of what we're seeing across the Trump administration, which is carrying out the mandate the American people gave him. Clean house, root out that rot and corruption and weaponization and politicization so we can start to rebuild that trust in these institutions.
That's not going to happen. No, that ain't going to happen. Who told you that's going to happen? Rebuild the trust after so long? Hey, folks. Are you willing to welcome back in open arms the NSA, CIA, and FBI. Type 1 for yes, Kit. I will. Type 2, no. Run, you stupid fool. Run, run, run. As fast as you can. Keep running.
That are charged with an important mission of serving the American people, ensuring our safety, security, and freedom.
And of course, we got to bring up the FBI as well, because this is also taking place. Some shenanigans.
But Intel doesn't like being told what to do. When they saw Musk with the chainsaw doging foreign aid, they started leaking to CNN. If you doge us, there will be consequences. On the CIA's seventh, how mass firings and the buyouts already offered to staff risk creating a group of disgruntled former employees who might be motivated to take what they know to a foreign intelligence service. The CIA is telling CNN that if their funding gets cut, they're going to sell state secrets to Russia.
Well, all right. Now I guess everyone wants to be a whistleblower. So does that mean can Edward Snowden come home now? Because now he's wondering, like, oh, everybody's doing it. Everybody is. Can he come home now?
Who the hell hired these Benedict Arnolds? The CIA is supposed to be filled with patriots, not sellouts. And the FBI is up.
Dude, no, not whatever what they've done for us. What are you talking about? Never asked the CIA and their involvement with El Chapo.
To no good, too. Michael Schellenberger is reporting a source inside the FBI says the Bureau is destroying evidence. Now we know what their accomplishments were last week. Dear Elon, I wiped the servers cleaner than crooked.
Interesting. So, real quick here, I just want to pull up this article here as well because people need to know what is going on. On Monday, it was revealed their National Security Agency, NSA, Interlink chat logs were released. The federal employees are under investigation for allegedly misusing an internal agency messaging board to discuss, well, fantasies as part of diversity, equity, and inclusion focus groups, okay? The chat logs from Intel Link obtained by the Manhattan Institute revealed employees from intelligence agencies, including Defense Intelligence Agency, U.S. Naval Intelligence, and the NSA, discussing their experiences with gender reassignment surgery, artificial genitalia, hormone therapy, and polyamory. So there you go. Tulsi Gabbard told Jesse Waters, we've got to take a step back because this is just barely scratching the surface. When you see what these people were saying, they were brazen in using a NSA platform intended for professional use to conduct this kind of really, really horrific behavior. I would say stupid, ignorant, dumb, horrific, disastrous, embarrassing behavior. These are the keen-eyed eagles protecting you. While you sleep at night, do you feel safer? So, whenever you see those spy movies on TV or those movies or anything like that, yeah, chances are, that's not even like it. It's just all hyped up. Just like when you look at TV shows about doctors or lawyers. No, they're not all like that, folks. It's not this super professional facility. Sometimes just stupid things happen. And in the NSA, and I guess in the FBI and the CIA, there's some stupid people around. It comes in all shapes and forms. And they were brazen in doing this because when was the last time anyone was really held accountable? Certainly not over the last 4 years, certainly not over the last 10, maybe 20 years. And we look at some of the biggest violations of the American people's trust in the intelligence community. No, it's been longer than 10 or 20 years, Tulsi. It's been longer than that. Gabbard previously called the behavior unacceptable and wrote on social media that those involved will be held accountable. And speaking of that, too, another thing, CNN. CNN was also called out by Tulsi Gabbard. Newly confirmed U.S. Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard has accused CNN as acting as a propaganda arm for disloyal intelligence agents, calling the network's report on potential retaliation by dismissed spies as an indirect threat to President Donald Trump's administration. As part of Trump's broader effort to downsize and restructure the federal government, the Central Intelligence Agency has recently offered so-called buyouts to its agents. In a report published on Monday, CNN, citing unnamed sources, claimed that some senior CIA officers who are quietly discussing how the dismissals risk creating a group of disgruntled former employees who might be motivated to take what they know to a foreign intelligence service. What could go wrong? I'm curious about how they think this is a good tactic to keep their job, Gabbard told Fox News on Tuesday. They are exposing themselves essentially by making this indirect threat using their propaganda arm, CNN, that they've used over and over again to reveal their hand, as if CNN didn't have enough trouble already. Their loyalty is not to America, not to the American people or the Constitution, it is to themselves. She stresses these disgruntled employees are exactly the kinds of people we need to root out, get rid of, so that the patriots who do the work in this area, who are committed to our core mission, can actually focus on that. Gabbard also claimed that many within the intelligence community had reached out to her personally, expressing support for Trump's effort to clean house and refocus on the core mission of serving the American people. Does that mean no longer spying on us? Do you think that's going to happen? Will that happen? And also, we got back. How many of those dismissals were from the intelligence agencies? That is a very good question. And of course, First Amendment says compare Voice of America to CNN. Both are arms of the U.S. government media. Very true about that. And exactly, folks, we are witnessing a huge shakeup and teardown of the entire intelligence community. So, as we all know, they give a little short breakdown of who Tulsi Gabbard is, how she went to bat for Bernie Sanders in 2016, ran as a Democrat contender in the 2020 primary, of course, being smeared and made into enemy number one by the Democrats and a huge pariah. And then she went on to leave the party in 2022 and then joined the Republican Party during the 2024 presidential election cycle, and in turn endorsing Donald Trump and supporting him throughout his entire the remainder of the 2024 election cycle. Trump's nomination of Gabbard for the top intelligence role in November sparked criticism from establishment figures who labored her a security risk. Despite the backlash, she was confirmed earlier this month by a 52-48 Senate vote, with only one Republican, Senator Turtleboy Mitch McConnell from Kentucky, opposing her appointment. In January, the Senate also confirmed another Trump appointee, John Ratcliffe, as director of CIA in a 74-25 vote. Ratcliffe, a former Texas congressman and ex-director of national intelligence during Trump's first term, is known for his skepticism of intelligence agencies and his criticism of investigations into alleged Russian interference in the 2016 election. So, what are your thoughts on this? Because on the one hand, it is fascinating to reveal what was the NSA and FBI and CIA's behavior during the 4 years under the Biden-Harris administration. But one can also make an argument, well, what were they doing 8 years ago, 12 years ago, 16 years ago, 20 years ago? The years go on and on and on. And we have to remember that your emails, your private phone conversations, your text messages are already being viewed at. I mean, Edward Snowden gave us that warning. He told us about the dangers. He gave us that warning, as he should. And for that, I'm very glad that he took that heroic step forward. But what else is happening? What else was being done while we were sleeping at night, hoping that everything was going to be safe and sound? I am ever hopeful, and I do say this, hopeful, hope in one hand, crap in the other, that there is a turnaround, that perhaps maybe we don't have to worry about the all-seeing eye of Sauron above us. But in this modern day and age where everything is being checked, everybody is being cataloged, we're not really free. We are all controlled by the black mirror of our cell phones. And in turn, the intelligence agencies, for what we see them as, I'm very curious to see what their rebuttal or pushback will be to the Trump administration.